Iana droning. Nice. Iana's droning. Off
She's
drone.
dead.
Injured as fuck. I'm watching Dragon. I'm watching Dragon. So they're still pushing split. Still pushing split. They're only pushing split. Dragon's clear. I'm watching Dragon. Wait, Dragon Hall. Dragon Hall. Approaching Dragon. Two. Far. Wide. Wide. Thermite went room. Ram coming. Ran.
Fuck. She's one tap.
Nice. This is why you let me die first. I'm good at cams. Wonder if I could get
Thank you
more...
for the calls on Dragon, by the way.
What?
Thank you for the calls on Dragon.
I am our best cam player. I die first, we lose one, we lose a gun, but we get the best cam player in the game.
And you give me comms that I fully understand.
I really need to do a video on like how to do fucking comm etiquette for cams.
Please. Even I need to watch that shit because I fuck it up sometimes.
Everyone fucks it up.
I know how to say like fucking close left and hard right and all that shit, but that's about it.
So every time I play ranked with the city, there's one compliment I get every single time, whether it's from like the long-term, every single day players, or whether it's from like the brand new first-time players. And it's always that my comms and my calls are perfect. Like they credit entire rounds to my calls. And some people will hear that and just go, okay, I'm just going to copy exactly what Vriska does and just make those calls. And then they don't know what to copy. So I'm going to just put everything out right now and tell you exactly how I do my calls, why my calls work, and what you can do to make your calls work that effectively. The very first thing, while we're on the topic of comms, this is going to be important. Use your fucking cams. Use your like, if you're going to communicate with your team, an important part of that is the team needs the information that they cannot get, especially if you are dead. If you're a dead player, you should be on cams, you should be calming, and you should be damn good at your fucking comms. Like, if you're dead and you're spending the whole game just spectating players, you are wasting so much value that you can be getting. Like, at the very start of the round, at the very start, at the end of prep, at least one person, it doesn't matter if it's your Cavi up in attic, doesn't matter if it's your Valk that's anchoring, someone at the end of prep phase needs to get on cams, needs to get immediately on the outside cams, and communicate with the team where they're starting. Like, if we lose this cam right here, what you're going to want to tell the team is they're coming from this side. And how you communicate it, it just depends on, you know, how your stack talks. Like, you could say they're coming construction or to construction, whatever you want to say. Communicate where the enemy is coming from. Because if they're coming from construction side, and I'm gonna try to find a good spot for this. So if the enemy is making a full 5-man push construction side, and you tell the team they're pushing construction, it's a construction push, and you've got a roamer over here in small tower on the other side of the map, and you don't communicate it. If you don't communicate it to your guy on the other side of the map, this guy's just gonna be sitting here the whole time, just like, are they coming? Guys? Are they coming? Guys? And then next thing you know, the enemy realizes it's a 5v4 and will just rush site. And now your guy in small tower has to rotate, you know, all the way, has to go all the way and retake site, as opposed to, yeah, they're pushing construction and then preemptively getting ahead of it, holding angles, holding rooms, etc., etc. So, very first thing about good comms, at the end of prep, have someone, it doesn't matter who, have someone on cams communicate where the enemy is coming from. It doesn't matter if they're like coming construction and some coming parking. It doesn't matter how you communicate it, as long as you communicate to your team, randos and all, where the enemy is coming from, so everyone's on the exact same page. And if you happen to miss a nuke or something, that's Nuke's whole thing. Don't beat yourself up for the Nuke doing the thing that Nuke does. Second thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and call this sort of the mid-game comms, because this is where knowing how to communicate quickly and effectively is gonna be the most beneficial. So what I will hear people do is they'll get on cams, which they should be doing, mostly if they're dead, but if they have a free minute, especially the anchors, get on cams. What they'll do is they'll get on cams, and they'll be like, okay, one of them looks like they're pushing, and then they'll do like this sort of stumble call. It'll just be word vomit. They'll just be like, okay, they have a thermite, and it looks like a shield. It looks like they're coming around to the door. just they're making the call way too long. If it's a relevant call, shorten everything. Take out every single filler word, everything that doesn't matter. Even shorten operator names if you have to. Like if you've got Montaigne pushing blue bunker towards etc., that is a lot of words. By the time that call is done, Monty's, here and being annoying. As opposed to, the call that I'd probably make is Monty pushing blue, Monty pushing blue, Monty pushing trench, Monty pushing Valk. And that is fast enough that I can just go Monty pushing Valk, Monty pushing Valk. And obviously, with a Monty, that's not what you do, but it's about making your call quick. It's about making your call, pretty clear what is happening. Like, Monty pushing blue, like, blue's a little ambiguous, but in this context, I know what blue's gonna be. Or I could even go, Monty pushing one, Monty on one accurate, Monty on one accurate. The accurate call. Calling accurate means he's exactly on the ping. So, Monty on one accurate, I just look for the one ping and shoot. I basically pre-fire my one ping. Another thing about giving these calls, the location. And people stumble on the location, so I'm going to give you a good example of where calls are bullshit. Calls are just fucking bullshit. Every location in Siege has 3 different names. They have the proper name, which is what shows up on your HUD. This right here is Boiler Room. There's the ranked name for it. Like if you play in a generic stack, a lot of teams will call this Shaiko because of the pro player Shaiko that plays off this corner a lot. And then the third name is what your team calls it. And that's the only important one. The only, hyper important call is what your team's going to understand. You could call this fucking Flubadoo for all I fucking care. As long as your team knows, alright, Thermi pushing Flubadoo, Thermi on Flubadoo. As long as your team knows what Flubadoo is, that call works. That's why, you've got White Stairs call, White Hall, front stairs, etc. Just, it doesn't matter what the room is actually called, in the game. It matters what your team is going to call it. You could call this fucking laundry stairs, front stairs, main stairs, etc. You could call this white. You could call it freezer. You could call it fucking prep. I think it is called prep. Nope, it's freezer. I was wrong. Every place in the game has 3 names. Basic fucking name, which is only really gonna matter if you play 10, I guess, or to just learn the map. The ranked call, which if you play solos a lot, I guess you could learn it. And then there's what your stack's gonna call it. Figure out what your stack's gonna call it. If you don't have a stack, figure out what people are probably gonna call it. So yeah, mid-game comms, just make them quick, make them concise. Don't stress about the name. If you panic and go Mats, I'm still vaguely gonna know what Mats is, as long as your call isn't complete fucking gibberish. As long as it's not some shit like concrete wall. Even though concrete wall, I could probably bullshit a guess, maybe. But yeah, cut out the filler words. Cut out cut out is. You want to make it short. You want as few words as possible. Monty pushing blue. It's the enemy Monty. He is pushing blue. Thermite breaching 1. The person, Thermite. The action, breaching. And the location, 1. Monty accurate. Character, Monty. Location, accurate. If there's no action, don't say an action. Don't say Monty is on 1. Just say Monty 1. Or, Monty on 1. Monty 1 accurate. Cut out words that don't fucking mean anything. Thermite on 1. Thermite pushing stairs. Coming downstairs. Enemy Harry Potter. Someone Harry Potter. Someone on stairs. Someone on barrel. Your calls need to be quick and precise. Because if you say, one too many words, your teammate is not going to have enough time to process. Alright, Monty's pushing with someone on blue, and by that time, Monty is pushing on me with someone here. Meanwhile, Monty pushing blue, Monty pushing blue. I have time to react to it. I'm registering what the call is. So make your call quick, precise. Cut out every word that isn't a person, an action, or a location. Relay those 3 relevant things. Person, action, location. the last sort of subcategory of call I want to talk about is sort of like mid-fight calls. I don't know if there's a better term for it, like mid-duel calls, where if you're on cams, helping someone in a duel, what you can do is, first of all, constantly Z-ping. Like, I know for a fact you can hear my keyboard. I'm just constantly Z-pinging where someone might be. Because if you do a hard scan, if you hard scan like that, it's going to tell the enemy there's a cam on them. With randos, it's sort of 50-50 because randos don't listen to these pings, really. They just listen to the X ping because it's accurate. But if you can, constant Z pings, give your team walls. Because if you can tell your team, you know, line on one, line on one, line on one, line still on one, line crouch one, line crouch one, line crouch one, line backing off one, your team doesn't even need to peek. They've got the intel because you're on that cam constantly pinging. It's like the enemy's getting sort of alibi pinged, but, you know, you gotta be a little more accurate. You want to tell your team during these duels what the enemy is doing fast. Lion crouch one, lion coming downstairs, lion crouch on stairs, lion crouch stairs, peeking pillar. And your team, it's at that point, it's just up to your team to actually react to the information. In the middle of a fight, you really need to give these calls like fast. Like, I know in the Overwatch version of this video, I talked about comm etiquette. And what I described it as is if you're giving a call that isn't a top priority, like lion might be pushing white, then you can kind of say it with like a lower tone because it doesn't need to grab your team's attention. But if there is someone making a hard rush, like if you have to make this call right here and someone needs to react or someone will die, you have my personal fucking blessing to start shouting. Because if no one reacts to this call, we lose the round. So a call like this, you want to go line pushing one, line pushing one, line pushing one. You want to basically, your team is thinking. Your team is full of humans. And humans think. So your teammates have their own thoughts going on. They're trying to think with the information they're getting. So when you make this call, line pushing one, you are taking their thoughts and you are cutting through it. With how loud and annoying you're being. You are cutting through your teammates' thoughts. Because line pushing one, line pushing one, line pushing one. And then the lion dies. Because you basically screamed it. You made sure your team knows what is happening and processes it. You are forcing what you're saying to be their thoughts. And yeah, that's the basic sort of tips I can give about comms and sort of how to be a good cam player, I guess, is a better word for it. I have no fucking clue. Anyway, yeah, have a good one. Practice your cams. You know, maybe play some defense and play a bit of Valk, play some BPs and really practice. Maybe steal this spot that I found during this game. And yeah, peace.